everybody, it's Dr. Rick dropping in on you. Hope everybody is having an unbelievable start to your week. As you can probably see, it is raining and chilly in Houston. The chill I don't like so much. I don't necessarily want it with the rain, but hey, beggars can't be choosy. I am definitely preferably a cold weather person. I like it cool. But that's neither here nor there. Look, I'm going to get right to what it is I want to share with you. First and foremost, if you believe in the work we're doing, we set out for a fundraiser boost over the weekend. That's like where we push it. I'm horrible at pushing it. Plus, weekend is time with my kiddies. The few that are left that are minor. Thank God most of them are grown, which is a whole nother headache. But anyway, so I was spending time with my 8-year-old. So that's the baby, and that's what my time was spent. So I didn't get a whole lot done. I'm not. I was where I needed and wanted to be. So. Work can wait sometimes. That's one thing my heart attacks in 2022 taught me is no matter how much money you make, if you're not here to properly manage it and to enjoy it, it's ridiculous killing yourself to do it. So I did something that was so meaningful to me, and I love every time I'm around her. She's just a joy. She's still at that age where she doesn't want much. She just wants me. And they all outgrow that, and it starts to be, hey, daddy the ATM, daddy the problem solver, that, and I'm good for that too. But when it's just like seeing you like puts this big smile on her face, and they've all been in that stage, and I know eventually she's gonna grow out of it. This one is different. I don't know if she'll ever get out of the point where her daddy is just that to her, but that's another story. Anyway, if you believe in what we're doing, show some love, show some support. We didn't come close to hitting our goal over the weekend. We still are pushing. So again, if you believe in what we do, show some love. Look, I'm not gonna take long. Spend too much time talking about my baby. But hey, here's the thing. Everybody's caught up in this Kanye Kyrie thing, and it won't go away because certain people won't let it go away. It has actually become much more bigger than it would have ever been if just would have chilled, be quiet. But that's not how things are set up to work. It's set up to immensely pounce on anyone that challenges any point or says any particular thing that they can deem offensive. And again, I'm not for hate. I'm not for senseless violence. I'm not for any of that. I am for defending what is under your responsibility to protect at all costs with no limitations. I believe you have to be willing to go to the mat, and I mean all the way to the mat, for what matters to you. But I'm not into picking needless fights and bickering about bull crap either. I'm about meaningful movement with measured steps that get you to the point. I fought so many meaningless battles in my early years that took so much out of me, and I've learned in my later years that if it doesn't apply to the victory, stop fighting. And so that's where my fight is. My fight is for the victory. My fight is for the win. But, you know, people will tell you, and they'll put it in your mind, you gotta understand the power of the media. People will tell you, it's just this, it's just that, it's just music. It's just music, it's just a movie. Stop tripping, it's not that serious. Until somebody uses the same medium to say something that does not shed them in a positive light, that does not present the truth that they want you to see, then it's a problem. Well, that tells me then, wait a minute. If it's a problem when it's happening to you, it should be a problem when it's happening to me. I should be more concerned and caring about what's being presented to me in the media, what's being presented to my children in the media, the type of imagery that's being portrayed, how my lineage and history and heritage is being portrayed in the media. where one group is being told, get over it, slavery was 150 years ago. Another group is being said, don't ever forget, we'll never forget. And we are never going to allow you to step on the memory of what we've been through. One group is told, shut up, get over it, it's been long enough, get past it. And you got to ask yourself, well, what's the difference? And then someone shared something with me this morning about the difference between Kyrie and Lil Nas X, where, we saw Lil Nas X stretch things to the extreme, even for today's culture. You've got a black male in pink jail gear, dancing nude in the shower with other black men, kissing on black men, all of that. Wasn't a problem. That was creative freedom of expression. He's allowed to do that. It's even being accepted in the country music arena. Huge, real huge. And then they get you to join in defending the madness that's actually in standing in diametric opposition to you. When you place what they're presenting in juxtaposition to what we need, it's the exact opposite, but we're not aware of it. And then we're being pushed to champion their position without understanding how their position impacts us. That's the media. That's the power of the media. You're literally defending something that works against you and thinking it's your idea to defend it. I've shared with you 3 of the most powerful books that have impacted me. Now, I've read many on propaganda, studied it. I've written about it. I've written about it in my books. But check it out. Propaganda by Edward Bernays. I want to say 1930, 1933, somewhere up in there. Brainwashed by Tom Burrell. I want to say somewhere 2007, 2009, somewhere up in there. Black Skin, White Mask by Frantz Fanon, 1957. Read those books, get an understanding of how media is used. Right now, we don't realize that we use the term almost daily. PR firms, publicists, all practice the same principles of engagement and mental, emotional, and social manipulation that Hitler used. They use it consistently, and it's a part of what they do. Let me explain to you what I'm talking about. For Hitler to be able to do what he did, and he did. Now, the specific facts and numbers and all that shit, I'm not getting into. That's why we're having this damn discussion in the first place. It's because some people disagree with numbers and all that. Whatever the numbers are, it was some horrific shit that happened. We can all agree on that. Okay. Well, here's the thing, though. In order to convince the German public that this is okay, there had to be a media campaign. It was a PR, publicist, propaganda campaign over the course of roughly about 12 months, where they portrayed European Jews in a certain light that was not positive, that was scary, portrayed them as pedophiles, portrayed them as the people who were robbing and stealing from them, portrayed them as a bunch of different people, different real ugly images. And it was done in the most simplistic of imagery. It wasn't sophisticated at all, but it was redundant. It was constant. And it started to make them question the people around them of Jewish descent. And when the oppression of those people began, it was let go as, hey, they're getting what they deserve. I'm not going to come to their defense. Hell, they might do X, Y, Z to me. They might do this to my daughter. And all these different things happen. Now, here's why I brought that up. The media influencers of the late 40s, early 50s adapted the very propaganda principles used by Hitler. But they didn't call it propaganda. They called it PR, public relations. What was it? It was a manner and way of convincing and manipulating the masses to do what you wanted them to do. They understood that through proper messaging, you can program and control the movement of the masses. It simply is. What your subconscious digests on a regular basis will have an impact on how you move, how you behave, how you frame things, how you react. And this is what happened. So when you look at what happened with Nas X, when you look at what happened with Nas X, the Pink, the God, the lap dancing on the devil, all the stuff that you look at and you see that was set up and celebrated in some ways, it's just simple freedom of expression. It's just entertainment. All of these different things, all the while, you have an image of an emasculated, feminized black male doing things that are associated with darkness and evil. Whether you believe in the devil or not is not important. The idea of the devil is always associated with evil and darkness. The idea of associating and fraternizing with the devil shares a darkness and a propensity towards evil. You just sit up and without realizing and associated the black man with femininity and darkness all in one man. And it was push, 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 push. And you don't see it playing out, but I see it playing out in the music industry now. I see it playing out in our communities now. It had an impact. And it was just one thing. It wasn't the only thing. This thing has been going on long before Lil Nas X was even born. They've been pushing the agenda since the 70s, but nobody's paid attention to it because it's just entertainment. But now check this out. The very same media, one black guy posts something and everybody loses their mind, even people that it does not directly impact. You know why? Because media told you should lose your mind. You know how many times you're triggered because media tells you to be triggered? Media knows what triggers every group of people, not just blacks. Everybody has triggers. And so the media knows what to do to trigger you and why it's triggering you. You have to really truly understand what's being played. But why was it such a big issue for Kanye to share that thing? He didn't put any framing around it. He didn't say, I 100% back this. He didn't say anything. He just simply shared it. So what was the big issue with that? Well, number one is Kyrie is this guy that they can't break. See, they wanted to force him to get the jab. Didn't do that. He stood his ground. He gave an educated and informed reasoning behind it. And the more data comes out, the more Kyrie is seeming like a genius behind what he said. I read and study the information on that. I've compiled probably 50,000 sheets easily of data from research on this thing since 2020. And I'll just say, hey, dude wasn't stupid. He maybe didn't express it well, or maybe and plus he has this idea that I don't have to explain myself. A lot of times he just sits up and says it and then tells you if that's what you want to feel, you're going to feel it. And that drives people crazy because they're used to being able to demand explanations for your behavior. And what they want from him now is to sit up and take a basically position of being on your knees and saying, I'm sorry, please forgive me, I was so wrong. In other words, at their mercy. And because he won't do it, they've taken it upon themselves to break him. But here's why it's a problem to them. It's because he's unbreakable to this point. I don't know what he's gonna do. Pressure eventually bursts pipes. So I'm not gonna sit up there and toot his horn and say he'll never break. He's not me, I'm not him, but I know me. And the thing is, whatever it is, he's gone to a point to where he's really truly just been a problem. So he's become the icon of black male resistance. Masculine black man speaking his mind, refusing to back down. He's the antitype. He is the archetype of what they don't want to see. He's the archetype of what they fear. He is exactly what they don't want. A black man thinking for himself, not going along with groupthink, not being easily misled, having the ability to question something and then make a decision no matter how unpopular it is. That's the type of black man we need. It doesn't even matter whether he's right or wrong. What matters is he's that type of guy. And see, that's the thing. Sometimes you got to be wrong in order to become at some point right. You got to be willing to say, I'm not going to go along with groupthink. I'm going to choose my own path. Now, the beauty about choosing your own path is you walk into places that other people never get to walk into because they're walking with the crowd. Nothing great ever happens amongst the collective in the crowd. In order to be great, even if you're in the crowd, eventually you have to come out of it. You have to start moving along the elite. You have to start to breathe rare air. You have to be willing to do something different. There is it is a process to becoming exceptional, phenomenal, extraordinary, remarkable. And that is what is fearful about him. But what you've got to understand is that there's a game at play, and that there's no such thing as just entertainment. People have died. People have been exterminated because people think about something being just informative entertainment. It has no, I'm gonna tell you something. What you're exposed to, your subconscious determines 96% of your behavior. Your subconscious determines 96% of your behavior. What does that mean? That means that if I can get inside of your subconscious and I can set the paradigms, I can set the parameters, I can set the framing, then I can dictate 96% of your behavior. Even if you're thinking outside in your conscious mind, this is what I want to do. This is your subconscious mind is controlling 96% of your behavior. We have a responsibility to be aware of how the game is played. That's one of the things that I set out to do for you guys a long time ago, is show you how the game is being played, show you what's out there. That's what the books were about. That's what the lectures have been about. That's what the videos have been about. That's what the articles have been about. It's about showing you, hey, this is something that you can measure. This is something that you can read. There are patterns here. There is a way that we're being handled, and we're unaware of it because we do not take the time to understand. We respond so heavily through emotion that all we have to do is be triggered and then told something, and we will act based off of what we are told because we feel a certain way. And then it doesn't help that we have these black faces in certain positions and on certain platforms that are basically hired hands for the enemy to sit up and say things and redirect you. You know, when I watch Shaq call Kanye stupid and an idiot, not Kanye, Kyrie, stupid and an idiot because he shared that and because he refused to back down, and then realized that his movie theater had played it not that long ago, and thinking about, you know, how easy it was for him to do that. And then look at all the dumb shit that he's done as a black man, representing the black male image that he is admittedly saying he wish he could undo. You're not in a position to talk about a brother that's simply taking a stand and attempting to inform his people. Man, it just keeps going. And Barkley and Stephen A. Smith, well, you expect Stephen A. Smith to be Stephen A. Smith, but on and on. And finally, Jay Will came out and said, hey, look, everybody's barking at this dude. Everybody's got all this anger and hatred at this dude. And yet, Jeff Bezos and Amazon making a grip off of the same material. Nobody's outraged. Nobody's going in. Nobody's trying to shut it down. What's up with that? Pay attention to what's going on. Then ask yourself, who controls the media? There are 6 primary powerhouse men, not groups, men who dominate media ownership. Look them up. Tell me what you find in common. On that note, look, I'm going to get out of here. Educate yourself. On the back end of this, don't forget to support the work we're doing so that we can continue to bring you power and inform you and offer services and programs in the community. This is so necessary. On that note, I'm out of here. You guys have an unbelievable remainder of your evening. I'm out.